Under a golden dawn, where mist wove through sprawling grasslands, a young woman named Snow White began her daily patrol. Her heart burned with a lifelong passion for the wild, a dream born in childhood to protect nature's creatures. As a conservationist, she roamed the untamed plains, her off-road vehicle stocked with water, medicine, and tools for any crisis. Each morning, she paused to read the earth, tracks in the dust, bird calls in the air, the pulse of life all around her. She felt the land breathe, its secrets whispering through every blade of grass. One quiet morning, as the sun painted the horizon, Snow White's sharp eyes caught a troubling sight, a trail of blood staining the dry earth. Her heart quickened with unease. She stopped her vehicle, stepped out softly, and followed the crimson drops weaving through the weeds. Her mind raced. What creature was hurt, and could she reach it in time? After a short trek, she froze. There, sprawled in the grass, was a magnificent lion, its golden mane dulled by dust and blood. Barbed wire coiled tightly around its powerful frame, cutting deep into its shoulders and back. The lion's eyes, clouded with pain, met hers for a fleeting moment before it slumped. Exhausted, Snow White's breath caught at the sight. She approached with care, her medical kit clutched tightly. The lion growled faintly, a sound more of despair than threat. Kneeling beside it, she spoke soothing words, her voice steady despite the pounding in her chest. The wire had bitten deep, leaving jagged wounds that demanded precision. With pliers in hand, she began the delicate task of cutting the steel, sweat beading on her brow as she worked. The lion's labored breaths filled the air, mingling with the sharp snip of metal. She moved with patience, coaxing the lion to stay calm, knowing one wrong move could spark panic. Time stretched thin, each moment heavy with the weight of the lion's life. At last, the final wire fell away. Snow White quickly cleaned the wounds, applying antiseptic and bandages to stave off infection. The lion, trembling but free, lifted its head. Its gaze locked onto hers, and in that instant she saw something shift. Relief, perhaps, or something deeper. She whispered a name for him, Brave, to honor his endurance. Stepping back, she watched as Brave struggled to his feet, wobbling but determined. With a final glance, he limped into the tall grass, leaving behind the shredded wire, and a moment that seared itself into Snow White's soul. Weeks passed, and Snow White resumed her patrols, her heart still tethered to that morning. One afternoon, under a sky clear as glass, she sensed eyes on her. Turning, she saw Brave, his wounds healing, watching from the edge of the grass. He didn't approach, but his presence was steady, calm. From that day, he became her shadow, trailing her vehicle along dusty trails. At first, her colleagues whispered with worry. Was this lion a danger? But Snow White only smiled. He's no threat, she said. He's a friend. Brave's quiet vigil became a ritual. When Snow White stopped to study antelope tracks, he lingered at a distance, patient until she moved on. Word of their bond spread, stirring awe among visitors and staff. They called Brave her wild guardian, marveling at the trust between a woman and the king of beasts. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Snow White glanced up to find Brave perched on a ridge, his silhouette framed against the fiery sky. Their eyes met, a silent vow of loyalty before he vanished into the dusk. But the wild is never tame. During a brutal dry season, when heat scorched the earth and water grew scarce, chaos struck. A herd of elephants, driven mad by thirst and hunger, tore through the land, splintering trees and upending calm. Orders came to evacuate visitors from their path, and Snow White raced to guide a group to safety. The elephants' roars shook the ground, drowning out her engine. In the rush, she lost her team, finding herself alone on a low rise, hemmed in by reeds and broken stumps. The herd's footsteps thundered closer, their massive forms looming through the dust. Fear gripped her. There was nowhere to run. Then a roar split the air, raw and commanding. Brave charged from the grass, his mane flaring like a crown. He planted himself between Snow White and the elephants, fangs bared, his voice a defiance of their rage. The herd hesitated, their attention shifting to the lion. Brave danced between their legs, dodging swinging trunks, his roars a relentless challenge. He was outmatched, yet he held his ground, buying Snow White time. Heart pounding, she seized the moment, scrambling toward a rocky outcrop beyond the elephant's reach. The clash of roars, lion and elephant, echoed like a storm. Brave wove through the chaos, fearless despite the risk. At last, the elephants, perhaps weary or wary of the lion's ferocity, turned away, their heavy steps fading into the distance. Brave collapsed, panting, his strength spent. Snow White rushed to his side, her hands trembling as she checked for wounds. Bruised but unbroken, he met her gaze, his eyes fierce with loyalty. She whispered thanks, her voice thick with emotion, knowing he had risked everything for her. With her team's help, Snow White brought Brave to a veterinary post. As he rested, news of the lion's bravery rippled through the reserve. People spoke of it with hushed wonder, calling it a testament to the bond between human and beast. Brave recovered slowly, his spirit unbroken. Even in weakness, he sought Snow White's face, as if to say their connection would endure. When he returned to the wild, he never strayed far, his presence a quiet promise. Their story grew into legend. Visitors came hoping to glimpse the woman and her lion, snapping photos of moments that defied nature's rules. Snow White felt Brave's gaze on every patrol, a guardian in the grass. Around campfires, rangers retold their tale, a fairy tale born of courage and compassion. At dawn, as mist cloaked the plains, Snow White drove on, certain Brave walked nearby, his steps soft on the dew. Their bond, forged in blood and trust, stood as proof that kindness could bridge worlds. Seasons turned, the grasslands shifting from green to gold. Snow White and Brave met now and then, sharing silent moments under vast skies. She never forgot the day she freed him, her hands steady despite fear, nor the day he saved her, his roars a shield against death. Those memories fueled her work, a reminder of why she fought for the wild. Others saw it too, her courage, his loyalty, and it stirred them to believe in harmony between man and nature. One evening, as stars pierced the twilight, Snow White looked out, half expecting Brave's silhouette. She found him on a distant rock, watching until her vehicle faded from sight. Their story inspired those who heard it, a call to protect the wild with open hearts. Through rain and sun, danger and peace, Snow White carried on, knowing Brave was near. His scars, etched by wire, mirrored her own resolve, marks of a bond that transcended species. Each day she smiled, certain that somewhere Brave's roar echoed, a song of gratitude and guardianship that warmed the wild.